Welcome dear student and Jai Swaminarayan. Today in this video we will discuss the answer of the questions given in the textbook of the chapter number 2 acid, base and the salt. So dear student, let us start with the chapter number 2 acids, base and the salts. Now first set of the questions given on the page number 18. One question is given on the page number 18. You have been provided with the three test tubes. One of them contains the distilled water and other two contains an acidic solution and a basic solution respectively. Right? In the three test tube, one contains the distilled water, second other two contains the acidic solution and the basic solution. If you are given only red litmus paper, how will you identify the content of the each test tube? So let us discuss the answer of this question. So dear student, here what is given to you? Three test tube is given to you. In one test tube there will be a distilled water, in the other test tube there will be a acidic solution, and in third test tube there will be a basic solution. And if you are given a red litmus paper, how will you identify the content of each test tube? So here dear student, litmus paper is used for the solution is a acidic or the solution is a basic, that we were discussed in the first video also. Acid base indicate is used to present the acidic nature or the basic nature of the solution, and from that red litmus paper and the blue litmus paper are there, right? So if the red litmus paper is given to you, the color of the red litmus paper gets changed to the blue, then it is the base. And if there is no color change, it is either acidic or a neutral. So the basic solution can be easily identified with the help of the red litmus paper. So here the red litmus paper is given to you. Now what is the use of the red litmus paper? The color of the red litmus paper changes to the blue if the solution is a basic, right? Otherwise, if there is no change in the color, right, the solution is acidic or neutral, right? So we can say that the red litmus paper is can be easily identify the solution is a basic or not. Now here three test tube is given to you, right? Let us mark the test tube A, B and C. A drop of the solution in A is put on the red litmus paper. First solution A, drop of the solution A, first test tube, put on the red litmus paper. Same is repeated with the B and C, right? Now here in this all the three test tube, three different solution is given to you. First one contains the distilled water, second contains the acidic or basic solution, third contains the three. Now take a drop of two or three drop of the from each test tube and put in the red litmus paper, right? If either of them changes the color to blue, then it is a basic, right? So if we put a solution A on the red litmus paper, color changes or not? So drop of the solution B on the red litmus paper, note down the color changes or not, and drop of the solution of C on the red litmus paper, note down the solution of color of red litmus paper, right? So if the color of red litmus paper changes to the blue, we can say that the solution is a basic. Out of three, one is eliminated, right? So from these three test tube, we can determine the basic solution from the red litmus paper, right? Understand? Now out of remaining two, any one can be acidic or a neutral, right? So one is a basic solution we can identify with the help of the red litmus paper. Now remaining two is either acidic or neutral. Now a drop of basic solution is mixed with the drop of each of the remaining two solution separately, right? So from out of these three we get the basic solution. Now take a drop of the basic solution and mix with the remaining two, right? And identify the color, and then the nature of the drop in the mixer is checked. So if the color of real litmus paper blue, then the second solution is a neutral, and if there is no change in the color, the second solution is a acidic, right? So take the basic solution, drop of the basic solution, mix with the remaining two and check with the real litmus paper. If the real litmus paper turns to the blue, the second solution is a neutral, and if there is no change in the color, the second solution is a acidic, right? So this way we can change only with the real litmus paper, we can change that the solution is a acidic, basic or neutralization, right? Now question number, next set of the question is given on the page number 22. Set of the three questions given on the page number 22. So let us discuss the answer of these three questions. So first question in the page number 22. Why should curd or sour substance not be kept in a brass and the copper vessel? We do not put a curd or the sour substance, right, in a brass or the copper vessel. Why? Because the curd and the other sour substance contains the acid, right? Therefore, when they are kept in a brass or copper vessel, the metal react with the acid to liberate the hydrogen gas and harmful products, right? Thereby spoiling the food, right? That's why the curd and the sour substance contains the kept in a do not kept in a brass or a copper vessel. Why? Because the curd and the sour substance contain the acid. Now dear student, we know that when the acid react with the metals like a copper, brass, right, other metals, right, it produce the hydrogen gas and the harmful products, and thereby the spoiling the food. Now question number 2. Which gas is usually liberated when an acid react with the metal? Illustrate with an example. How will you test for the presence of this gas? Right? Which gas is usually liberated when the acid react with the metals? When the acid react with the metals, the hydrogen gas will be liberated. Right? Illustrate with the help of the example. And how we can test the presence of the hydrogen gas? The presence of the hydrogen gas can be tested with the help of the pop test, right? When the burning candle is placed in place of the hydrogen gas, it will burning with the pop sound. This test is known as the pop sound, right? Pop sound test, right? So understand, the hydrogen gas is usually liberated when an acid react with the metal, right? Now how we can understand? With the help of the activity, right? So take a few piece of the zinc granule and add a 5 ml of the dilute H2SO4, right? This activity we were discussed in the previous video also, right? Chemical properties of the acid and the base, right? So what is the chemical property of the acid? First chemical property of the acid, when the acid react with the metals, it produces the hydrogen gas, it liberates the hydrogen gas. And how we can taste the hydrogen gas? The hydrogen gas, the presence of the hydrogen gas can be tasted with the help of the pop test, right? When we place a burning candle in the place of the hydrogen gas, it will burn with the pop sound. This test is known as the pop test. So take a few piece of the zinc granule, that is the metal, and add a 5 ml of the dilute H2SO4 sulfuric acid. Shake it and pass the gas produced into the soft solution. The bubble of the soft solution are formed, and this soft bubble contains the hydrogen gas. So when the H2SO4, right, when the H2SO4 sulfuric acid react with the zinc, it produces the zinc sulfate and the hydrogen gas. So how the presence of the hydrogen gas be tested? When we can taste the hydrogen gas by its burning with the pop sound when a candle is brought near the soap bubble, right? So with this soap bubble, hydrogen gas is released, right? And when this hydrogen gas, when we place a burning candle in the with the near to the soap bubble which contains the hydrogen gas, it burns with the pop sound. Understand, dear student? So understand, dear student, the question answer of the question number 2. Now question number 3. Metal compound A react with the dilute hydrochloric acid to produce the effervescence, right? The gas involved exudes a burning candle. Write a balanced chemical equation for the reaction if one of the compound formed in the calcium chloride. So the compound formed by burning a dilute hydrochloric acid with the compound A, right? The compound forms is a calcium chloride. Write the balanced chemical equation for that. So we know that calcium chloride, it presents a calcium, right? So what is the metal? So metal we consider calcium carbonate. So when the calcium carbonate react with the hydrochloric acid, we get the calcium chloride, carbon dioxide and the water, right? Now balance this equation, right? We add here 2 because the H2O, here the hydrogen atom is a 2, so we add here 2. Now balance this chemical equation. So calcium carbonate react with the hydrochloric acid, we get the calcium chloride, carbon dioxide and the H2O, that is a water, right? Balance this equation. So we were discussed the balancing of the chemical equation in the chapter number 1 also, right? So understand, dear student, what is the chemical equation when a metal A react with the dilute hydrochloric acid to produce the effervescence. The gas involves in the extinguish a burning candle. While the write the balanced chemical equation for the reaction if the one of the compound form the calcium chloride. So one compound form the calcium chloride here. So calcium carbonate react with the HCl hydrochloric acid, we get the calcium chloride, CO2 and the H2, right? Now, next set of the question is given on the page number 25. Question number 1 on the page number 25. Why do HCl, HNO3, etc. shows the acidic character in the aqueous solution while the solution of the compounds like alcohol and the glucose do not show the acidic character, right? So why this HCl, HNO3 shows the acidic character in the aqueous solution, that is the water solution, right? And while the solution of the compound like alcohol, glucose do not shows the acidic character. So this oscillation, right, of the HCl, HNO3 through from the hydrogen ion. So when we dilute the HCl, HNO3 with the water, in the presence of the water, it produces the hydrogen ion. Hydrogen ion H plus combined with the H2O water molecules form the hydronium ion. So in the HCl, HNO3, the hydrogen ion is present, H plus ion is present, and H plus ion combined with the water molecules, it produces the hydronium ion H3O plus. Let us see the reaction. HCl combined, HCl contains the H plus ion and the Cl minus ion. This H plus ion combined with the water molecules H plus plus H2O, we get the hydronium ion H3O plus. So this solution HCl, HNO3 are shows the acidic character because of the presence of the H3O plus ion, while the alcohol glucose contains the hydrogen, but this cannot dissolution in the dissociate in the water for the hydrogen ion. So the alcohol and glucose produce the OH minus ion in the water solution, so they do not show the acidic character, right? While the HCl and HNO3 produce the hydronium ion in the water solution, so this shows the acidic character, right? Understand? Now question number 2. Why does an aqueous solution of the acid conduct the electricity? The aqueous solution of the acid contains the H plus H3O plus ion and the Cl minus ion. So due to this ions present in the aqueous solution of the acid, it conducts the electricity, right? So acid dissociate in the aqueous solution to form an ion, and these ions are responsible for the conduction of the electricity, right? Now question number 3, why does dry HCl gas not change the color of dry litmus paper, right? While the solution of the HCl change the color of the litmus paper, so why the dry HCl gas does not change the color of the dry litmus paper? So color of the litmus paper is changed by the hydrogen ion, right? Dry HCl gas does not contain the H plus ion. It is only in the aqueous solution that and the acid dissociate to give the ion. So since in this case the neither HCl is in the aqueous form nor the litmus paper is wet, right? So the color of the litmus paper does not change. So the dry HCl gas does not change the color of the dry litmus paper because it does not contain the hydrogen ion. But when we dissolve the dry HCl in the water, it produces the H plus ion, and due to this the acidic nature, the color of the litmus paper will be changed, right? Now question number 4, why diluting an acid, while diluting an acid, why is it recommended that the acid should be added to the water, not water to the acid, right? So here when we dilute the acid, we must have to add a acid to the water, not water to the acid. Why this happen? Because the dissolving of the acid in a water is a highly exothermic process, right? So it is always recommended that the acid should be added to the water. If it is done the other way, then it is possible that because of the large amount of the heat generated, the mixer splash out or cause burn, right? So it is recommended that the acid should be added to the water, not water to the acid. So dilution of the acid is the process of the dissolving an acid to the water is highly exothermic, and because of that when we added a water to the acid, large amount of the heat is generated and the mixer splash out or it causes the burn. So it is always recommended that the acid should be added to the water, not water to the acid, right? Understand? Now question number 5, how is the concentration of the hydronium ion H3O plus ion affected when a solution of the acid is diluted? When the acid is diluted, the concentration of the hydronium ion H3O plus per unit volume is decreases. This means that the strength of the acid is decreases, right? So when we dilute an acid in the water, the concentration of the H3O plus ion is decreases, and that we can say that the strength of the acid is decreases. Now question number 6, how is the concentration of the hydroxide ion OH minus ion affected when the excess base is dissolved in the solution of the sodium hydroxide? So when the excess base is dissolved in the solution of the sodium hydroxide, how is the concentration of the hydroxide ion OH minus ion is affected? So here the concentration of the hydroxide ion OH minus ion would increases when the excess base is dissolved in the solution of the sodium hydroxide. So when we dissolve the base in the solution of the sodium hydroxide, the increase in the OH minus ion, and because of that we can say that the strength of the base is increases. So dear student, understand all the answer of all the 6 question given on the page number 25, question number 1 to 6 on the page number 25. Now next set of the question are is given in the page number 28, right? Question number 1, you have a two solution A and B. The pH of solution A is 6 and the pH of solution B is 8, right? Which solution has a more hydrogen ion concentration? Which of this is a acidic and which of one is a basic, right? So pH number indicates the acidic nature and the basic nature of the solution. If the pH value of the solution is 7, right, it indicates the solution is a neutral. But if the pH value of the solution is less than 7, it indicates that the acidic solution, and if the pH value of the solution is greater than 7, it indicates the basic solution, right? So therefore the solution A has a pH 6. So the solution A is a acidic solution. It has a more hydrogen ion concentration, and solution B, the pH value of the solution B is a 8. So it has a basic solution. So it has a less number of the hydrogen ion, right? So pH value indicates the acidic and the basic nature of the solution. If the pH is less than 7, it gives the basic nature, acidic nature of the solution, and if the pH is greater than 7, it indicates the basic solution. In the acidic solution, the more number of hydrogen ion concentration, and in the basic solution, less number of the hydrogen ion concentration is there, right? Now question number 2. What effect does the concentration of the H plus ion have on the nature of the solution, right? So concentration of the H plus ion can have a very effect on the nature of the solution. With an increase in the H plus ion concentration, the solution becomes more acidic, while decreasing the H plus ion in the concentration, while the increase in the basicity of the solution, right? So when the H plus ion, the concentration of the H plus ion is increasing in the solution, it gets, the solution becomes the more acidic, while the concentration of the H plus ion in the solution is decreases, it increase the basicity of the solution. So we can say that the solution is a more basic, right? Now question number 3. Does the basic solution also have a H plus ion? If yes, then why are these basic solution? The basic solution have a H plus ion or not? Yes, the basic solution also have a H plus ion, but their concentration in the solution is a less compared to the concentration of the OH minus ion. So it makes the solution basic, right? So the acidic solution have a H plus ion, but in the acidic solution the concentration of the H plus ion is more compared to the OH minus ion. So the solution is called the acidic solution, and in the basic solution the concentration of the H plus ion is less compared to the OH minus. So it makes the solution basic, right? Now question number 4. Under what soil condition do you think a farmer would treat the soil of his field with the quicklime calcium oxide, or slackline calcium hydroxide, or a chalk calcium carbonate? So dear student, here you have to remember this scientific name, chemical name of the common name. Quicklime, the chemical name of the quicklime is a calcium hydroxide, CaOH twice. Slacklime, the chemical name of the slacklime is a calcium hydroxide, right? And the chalk, the chemical name of the chalk is a calcium carbonate, right? Under what soil condition do the farmer treat the soil, right? So if the soil is acidic and improper for the cultivation, then to increase the basicity of the soil, the farmer would treat the soil with the quicklime or the slacklime or a chalk, right? So dear student, understand answer of this all the 4 questions. Next set of the question is given in the page number 33, right? Question number 1. What is the common name of the compound CaOCl2, calcium oxygen chloride? The common name of the compound CaOCl2 is a bleaching powder, right? We know that the salt CaOCl2 is a bleaching powder. So the common name of the compound CaOCl2 is a bleaching powder. Now question number 2. Name the substance which on treatment with the chlorine yields the bleaching powder. Which substance react with the chlorine gives the bleaching powder? So when the calcium hydroxide CaOH twice is react with the chlorine, with it gives the bleaching powder, right? So reaction, you know that when the CaOH twice calcium hydroxide react with the chlorine gives the bleaching powder CaOCl2, right? Now question number 3, name the sodium compound which is used for the softening of the hard water, right? So which compound is used for the softening of the hard water? Washing soda. What is the chemical formula of the washing soda? Na2CO3, sodium carbonate, Na2CO3 dot 10H2O, right? What is the meaning of this 10H2O? It has a 10 water molecules for the crystallization of the sodium carbonate. So washing soda is used for the softening of the hard water, right? Now question number 4, what will happen if a solution of the sodium hydrocarbonate is heated? Give the equation of the reaction involved. So when the solution of the sodium hydrogen carbonate, right, sodium hydrogen carbonate NaHCO3 is heated, the sodium carbonate and the water forms with the evolution of the carbon dioxide gas. So when the sodium hydrogen carbonate NaHCO3 is heated, it produces the sodium carbonate, water and the carbon dioxide gas. So chemical equation NaHCO3 when we heated, that is delta, right, Na2CO3 plus H2O plus CO2. Now balancing this, we require to add here 2, right? So when the sodium hydrogen carbonate is heated, it produces the sodium carbonate, water and the carbon dioxide gas, right? Understand? Now question number 5, write an equation to show the reaction between the plaster of Paris and the water. So chemical equation for reaction of the plaster of Paris and water is like this. What is the chemical formula of the plaster of Paris? The plaster of Paris is a calcium sulfate CaSO4 dot 1 half H2O plus react with the water H2O, we get the gypsum, right? What is the chemical formula of the gypsum? CaSO4 dot twice H2O. So if we want to balance this chemical equation, we need to add a 1.5 here, right? So 1.5 molecules of the water combined with the plaster of Paris, we get the gypsum CaSO4 dot 2H2O. So dear student, I hope that you understand answer of all the question in the given in the textbook, right? Thank you very much for watching my video.